Hi there, welcome to Neighborhood. Let's go ahead and just jump right in. I'm going to pick the game's main character and just kind of pick a nice outfit and color just to go along with it. Alright, so let's walk right through this door since we've selected. Alright, and we'll find ourselves in the central hub. So in here, you can talk to a variety of people to do a couple of things. You can get some basic story development, like let's go ahead and talk to this girl up here. So the quick story, just to dive into it, is there are a group of kids who have blocked access to the new park that just opened up, and you have decided to try and help. So here we are at the shop. Over here you can buy a variety of equipments. Like right here, these ones will do anything from give you more attack power to make you run faster a little bit. And over here we've got healing items. Right now we don't actually have any gummy, which is the currency of the game, so we can't buy anything. Up here is the dojo. You can learn how to play the game, you can level up, and you can learn new skills, but again, it costs gummy, so we're going to just skip all of that for now and dive right into the game. So here we have the stage selection. Let's go to the first stage. Quick note about gummy: you earn it by defeating enemies. If you're playing with friends, up to 4 players, everybody shares the same pool, so you have to kind of work together on that. But at the same time, there are more enemies, so you earn more of it. Okay, so here we are on the first stage. We kind of just start with something really simple. You can see when he attacks, he's got a very large wind-up in it. Got an area of effect that shows you where the attack is going to land. So as long as you're not standing in that, you're pretty much okay. So now we got 2 enemies. You can see when a fight starts, a little ring comes around the entire area. You cannot leave the area until all enemies that have been activated are defeated. So we got this round. Let's move on. Alright, so let's talk about larger encounters like this. So if you look under the enemies, you see a little small ring. That identifies who's closest to you. If you then press the A button, it will lock onto them. And then no matter which direction you're running, if you press an attack, it will automatically lock towards them. There are certain things that don't do it, like dodge, but if you go ahead and just match the light attack button, we get their light combo. Let's show a strong combo on this guy. And on this one, let's do a combo plus a special skill. There we go. So the special skills you can see up on the left, you have 2 of them available to you. Those can be swapped out in the hub, but they're on cooldowns, and you can do them pretty much only when they're not on cooldown, of course. So we have a new type of enemy here. If you were paying attention to the last enemy's rings, they were red. These ones are yellow. So there is a difference on how those function. So an enemy with a yellow warning ring has armor on startup, so they don't actually flinch when you hit them. Let's show it on this guy. So he didn't flinch when I hit him. So what you have to do is kind of play around that. The idea behind this is to get you ready for boss fights, which use a pretty large amount of armor, so you have to be ready for and understand how that works. I'm introducing that concept pretty early. So now I'm going to be mixing and matching 2 different kinds of enemies here. Usually in these sort of scenarios you want to take care of the smaller guys first, and then we just move on to the bigger ones. It doesn't really matter which one you pick and when this small amount of enemies, so we'll just kind of stick with that. As it gets a little more overwhelming when you've got more enemies to work with, you kind of want to try and separate crowds and try to take out one at a time. So we have a larger group here. I'm going to go ahead and show my super technique. You can see I'm glowing blue. This is really good for taking out a few enemies if you can line them up properly. So I'm going to take out 2 of those. You can get all 3 technically if you get lucky, and they all just happen to be standing next to each other, but that's not terribly common. Another encounter, pretty standard. They're ranged a little uniquely to start, so I just had to be a little careful there. So you're also noticing that you can dodge cancel pretty much all of your moves. So if you commit to something big, you usually get out of it pretty easily. Just as long as you are paying attention. And if surrounded by a lot of enemies, it's good to kind of learn that sort of skill. Alright, large group of enemies here. Best thing to do is, well, we got lucky and punched them up, and took all of them down. So here comes the point in the game where I expect most new players to have a little bit of difficulty with. I would anticipate a lot of players dying here. Not a lot, but some newer players. So here you actually really have to learn how to separate enemies if you can. If you can't, then what you need to do is just take a couple of quick pokes. Don't overcommit to anything so you don't get hit in the back, because the only enemies that sort of respect what you're doing are the hammer people. But they only do that up to a point. They will gang up on you if you are not careful. So right there, if I kept up with that and tried to finish that combo, I would have gotten hit for sure. Go ahead and just finish this guy up. Alright, so now we're on to the first boss fight. So we'll talk about a couple things as we get to this. So if you look under me, I've got a little white target that shows the boss is targeting me. Of course, I'm the only player here, so I'm going to be the target, but in a multiplayer situation, it helps you know what to pay attention to. So the boss is going to cycle through a few different types of attacks. This is probably as good of time as any to show how the combo stamina works. If you look under my character, you saw a little bar draining. Once that stamina bar is empty, you can no longer do any more cancels. So you really only have to worry about this if you are fighting a boss or an extremely large group of pretty strong enemies. So that's just something to keep in mind. That is a stat you can upgrade and level up. So it's good to know if you like doing big combos, then you can focus on that when you're building your character. Alright, so multi-phase boss fights. Woke up with a few new enhanced versions of our attacks. So something to also pay attention to, we spoke about the armor. So bosses function a little bit differently, so if you look above their life, you've got a yellow striped bar. That is their armor bar, so you actually have to deplete that before you can stagger them. This boss doesn't have a ton of armor, so you just have to wait for these patterns, look for an opening, breaker there. So now you got a long time to actually do something pretty good. Probably get a different here. Yeah, there we go. Alright, and that is the end of the first stage. So we'll go ahead and just look at the scoreboard here. I did pretty well. Showed you how much damage I did total, how many kills I got, maximum damage in a combo, how much damage per minute I did. This shows a lot of different stats. At the bottom are bad things, how much damage you took and hits you took, but I didn't get hit, so that was pretty good. And I got a rank up at the top right. X rank is perfect, where you don't take any damage or hits, and ranks go down accordingly from there. So we'll head back into the hub after this, and then I can show what the gummy actually can get you and what it'll do for you, and that should be into the demo. So let's go ahead and start up here at the shop because it's relatively simple. Let's go ahead and buy a piece of equipment. So I'm going to buy the Power Man button, which boosts my power by 1. So I'm going to pick it and I'm going to assign it to a slot. So I've assigned it up there. You can see in the upper left, it's now in a slot. So something to keep in mind, items and equipment share slots. So if I want to buy a healing item, I'll go ahead and put it over on that side, on the right side. And now you can see they're sharing slots. So to use an item or equipment, you just press the D-pad in the direction. And there I've used one part of the hot dog, and then that's the second part. Alright, now let's go ahead and head up to the dojo. So up here, you can do a few things. This guy in the middle, he will teach you how to play the game, basic techniques and all that. I'm going to go ahead and just skip past it because you can't talk to these guys unless you just go to that first part. So this guy on the right, if you talk to him, he's where you will spend gummy to level up. So, brief overview of it. Each time you level up, the gummy cost to do so gets higher. But if you spend gummy on HP, for example, you get 2 points in it. 1 point of HP gets you an extra 50. If you look over the right, it'll show you exactly how it changes. But each time you upgrade one stat, you actually lose a little bit in another. This is mostly done to help you focus on
one, maybe two things. It's very difficult and pretty impractical to make a perfectly well-balanced character. One thing you can do, though, if you want to put a bunch of points into stamina, there's no penalty for it. You always get 1 free point, but if you want to just double up on that, then you're more than welcome to do that. Up here we have the skill shop. So, I'm not going to go over everything in super detail, but if you look through here, you can see it shows you various moves you can buy. They do function differently. Just for a quick example, this is the basic slash combo you saw me use. It's very good at dealing with crowds. This one isn't so hot at crowds, but it's much better for singling out somebody and doing a lot of damage to them. So here's a few other ones. You got different special moves you can do, variants on the earthquakes, hard-hitting moves that are really good at knocking crowds away. There's only one super at the moment, but this will be expanded as production goes, of course. And you got a few different evasive options. One's better if you are more aggressive, the other one is if you're more defensive. Same with guarding, there's a guard button you can hold down, or there's a special parry which is much harder to use, but it's much more rewarding. Anyways, that's pretty much Neighborhood right there. Thanks for watching.